Since 1973, Tattoo Charlie's has been an established body modification studio in Kentucky, featuring world-renowned artists and piercers, currently with locations on Preston Highway and in Lexington, a staple point in the tattoo community. Learn more at tattoocharlies.com. Set up your appointment today at 7904 Preston Highway. Our tattoos are done while you wait. Hey, are y'all in a band? Do you need merch for shows? By now I'm sure you've seen all the Metal Forge patches that are available, along with many more. Well, the printer I use for those is UKR Patcher. Check them out on Facebook and Etsy. They do awesome custom work and for extremely affordable prices for any band budget. Check them out, UKR Patcher on Facebook and Etsy. Hey everyone, do you play tabletop games like D&D and Pathfinder? Well, hit up Eric at Imagination Studios. They do custom printing for all your minis for gameplay. Don't forget, they are a licensed Reaper, Artisan Guild, and Moored printer and dealer. Hit up ImaginationStudios502.com for more info. That's ImaginationStudios502.com. EMAGINATION Studios502.com. Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I am your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now, let's get this show on the road. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Friday, May 29th, and I'm your host, Mark Jackson. Welcome to the Metal Forge. Memorial Day week. Hopefully everybody had a safe Memorial Day, didn't get burned on any grills, you know. It never seems to fail that you always see some news story where some dumbass, like, burns himself somehow because he was stupid. But hopefully, you know, you had a good holiday in remembrance of those who have fallen in war for the freedoms that we take. Sometimes we take for granted. You know, there's been quite a few songs in metal that are about soldiers. So let's go in and look at some of those. And we'll just, you know, I'm going to check onto the Loudwire here because they posted a few of them as well. Looks like number one on the list, obviously, is Rooster by Alice in Chains. You know, it was Jerry Cantrell's uncle. Was a sniper in Vietnam, so interesting stuff there. One, of course, by Metallica, and For Whom the Bell Tolls. The Trooper by Iron Maiden. Yeah, definitely. Drowning Pool, Soldiers. The Doors, Unknown Soldier. Fortunate Son by CCR. Remember the Heroes by Sammy Hagar. Faraway Coast by the Dropkick Murphys. Soldier's Things by Tom Waits. The Sands of Iwo Jima by Drive-By Truckers. The Good Soldier by Nine Inch Nails. Army Bound by Ted Leo and the Pharmacists. You know, and they had one on the list here that I was kind of interested in. They had Civil War by Guns N' Roses. And, you know, the thing in there, what's so civil about war anyway? Do you believe it's about soldiers, though? Or is it more about society? What are your thoughts on that? Is it more about society, or is it more about, like, you know, picking up your gun and going to war? And one of the that they didn't put on the list, which I was surprised, was Disposable Heroes. I guess because they already had two Metallica songs. I think I would have taken off Civil War. Yeah, I know it's, you know, there's some reference in Civil War, but overall, is it? What are your thoughts? Send me some info on it. We'll get it on the air next week. All right, this week on the show, we have Black Knight from Lexington, Kentucky. Horror, metal, punk. Kind of reminds me of Motorhead, and just a little bit darker, dingier, I guess, in the playing, in the timbre of music. Awesome shit, though. If you're a fan of Motorhead and you're a fan of punk, I think you're going to love these guys, because they're fucking cool as shit. Kind of reminds me, if you're familiar with Hookers. Hookers kind of has that same tone, that same that grittiness that's in there. So definitely going to dig that. They do have a few releases, which is pretty fucking cool. They do have 2 full-length albums, which are Spellcaster and Self-Titled. They have a 7-inch split with Lustrum, and they have a split with Abigail. And they have recently released, as in like within the last few days, they've released the Flying Death 7-inch split with Whipstriker. So it's limited to 200, and it's available on their Bandcamp. So get that shit before you can't get it anymore, because it's gonna end up selling out fast, because these guys are fucking awesome. Be looking for them July the 11th. It's Transplant Fest 3 with Midnight, Malignancy, Shed the Skin, Tyrant, Black Knife, Obscene, Stonecutters. It's 7/11/20 or Southgate House Revival in Newport, Kentucky. It's $25 pre-sale, $30 pre-sale, and $35 day of show. But it's going to be fucking worth it. And look for me there. If you find me, tell me your name. I'll give you a patch, assuming some are still available. I'm going to be bringing all of my stuff with me. So, hell yeah. Let's get this shit going. This is Pentagram of Rats from the Spellcaster album from Black Knife. Be back in just a few.
Hey, what's up, Mark? How's it going, man?
Hey, what is going on? And just coming back off of Pentagram of Rats, I have Black Knife on the phone. How are you guys doing? How are y'all today?
We're doing good, man. We just got done practicing, and we're actually in a rare kind of situation where we have a spot big enough where we can distance and still get together and write and work on the album. So we're pretty fortunate. So we're doing good.
That is, I've been seeing on Facebook posts from bands that have been on the show where they're actually starting to reincorporate practicing with, the social distancing guidelines and such like that, which is pretty cool. Because assuming, you're playing at a decent size venue, you're probably going to be at least 6 feet apart on the stage in most places, I would say.
No, some places.
Some places, yeah.
Most of the places we play haven't been that big, but...
Some, and we're hoping we're on that fest. I think we talked a little bit about the Transplant Fest in Ohio coming up with Midnight, a bunch of other really cool bands. So, yeah, man, we're hoping that works out. It's 7/11's the date on that, and, if it all works out well, hopefully we can still do that.
I hope so. When I was looking at the stuff for Kentucky, it was kind of sketchy by the end of June. It was like 50 people at in like a club or a bar, and I was like, oh, how's that going to work out? And, I assume that the first 50 people that bought tickets to it are still going to get theirs honored. Or is that...
Yeah, sure.
That's a big can of worms at this point, I think.
Right.
I think a lot of our issues are going to end up being is that 50 people in.
Yeah, we were joking about that earlier too. It's like, I don't know if 50 includes the bands, it may be a little, like a little weird.
We'll all just play to each other. That's fine.
Yeah, does it include the bands and the people working, or is it like just people coming in?
Or first of all, why don't you introduce yourselves to the Metal Forge audience?
Well, we're Black Knife, actually based out of Lexington, Kentucky. We play like kind of a blend of black metal and punk, just all the stuff that we like, with some heavy thrash leaning, I guess you'd say, and a little bit of all that kind of thrown in a blender. And so we've just been doing our thing with a fairly young band. We're all members of bands previously, and then this is a pretty young band, relatively speaking. So we're just kind of doing our thing and getting out there, man. We sold my car, bought a van, had these big 2020 plans to tour this year. We were really going to get out there, and then the whole COVID-19 kind of kicked us in the balls a little bit with that. But yeah, we're definitely going to get out there a lot more as soon as this is all over. So.
Definitely. I think I had said, in the monologue to the show, I was like, you kind of remind me of Motorhead and the Hookers.
Oh man, that's high praise.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's like black punk, I think. It's awesome. I dig the two albums and the split. And so, speaking of, how do you all get together to do writing? Does one of you just bang everything out? I mean, is it all a collaborative effort?
Well, generally speaking, yeah, it all starts with the riff, and I get a lot of ideas just kind of popping in my head, and I'll usually just kind of start writing riffs, man, and I kind of start there, and I'll bring it, I usually do most of the writing with it, and then I'll bring it to practice, and everybody kind of chimes in, and, I'll bring like a skeletal backbone with a loose idea, and then they kind of flush it out with me, and we sort of decide what works. So.
As soon as Josh writes a riff that he's super excited about, I mean, he sends it to our phones pretty much immediately, and he probably doesn't want me to say this, but he's usually in his pajamas, and he's just so excited that he doesn't even care. He's like, you all have to listen to this song.
Sweatpants and all, it's the whole thing.
He's like, don't judge my jammy pants.
Right? Well, it's all about being comfortable, I think.
Absolutely.
Because I know I write a lot in my my pajama pants too, so I can relate.
It works.
It's comfortable.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely works. Talking about albums, so you do have two albums out. You've got the self-titled and you've got Spellcaster, and you also have a couple of splits, one with Abigail, one with Lustrum, and now you have one with Whipstriker, correct?
That is correct, yeah. That just came out a couple days ago, and I actually just left the post office sending the first wave of packages out, and people have been really, really enthusiastic about it. We've sold some to people in different countries and stuff, so we're always really appreciative and stoked on that, for sure.
This is a new feature that I'm starting on the show. The last couple of weeks I've had a couple. Mick wants to know, how did you all land with Whipstriker? How did you all come about getting an opportunity to do a split with them?
Well, we kind of did the thing that we did with Abigail. I really just kind of like threw it out there for them and just sent them a link to our Bandcamp and was like, hey, we're huge fans. We're way into your music. You guys are an influence, and we're really just, fans first. And then we kind of sent them a link and just threw it out there. And luckily they said yes. So we've just been really fortunate that these bands have liked what we've done. It's a huge, honor to us too, to kind of share space with guys like Abigail and Whipstriker. We actually played a fest with Whipstriker, and it's safe to say we were a lot further down on the flyer than they were. But so we were like really, really stoked they said yes, and it's just a really cool opportunity for us. So it just worked out. We just threw it out there, and they said yeah. So.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where you kind of geek out, and you're just like, "What? Did that just happen?"
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how a few of my things that I've had like that. I've done it as a joke, and it's like, what's the worst that can happen? They can say no. I mean,
right.
And then if somebody says yes, you're just like, oh shit, now this is reality. That's how mine has worked.
Right. For sure. Definitely cool seeing our logos together on the same album. I kind of like fanboy out a little bit, and I stop and look at it like, wow, we did a thing. You know, it's pretty fucking. It's really cool.
And that's what it's about. You know, I think it's about the love of being able to do stuff like that. You know, especially with the bands that you're interested in as a fan.
For sure. Absolutely, man.
So when you write the songs, do you have working titles you assign to things?
We do. A lot of times they start with the chorus, and then they kind of I kind of write everything and tie it together with the chorus, and the chorus is usually kind of the melody that comes to mind first. But I was kind of reading up on your questions a little bit, and I know you said that, you know, you were laughing about some of the ones people have tossed out, and we all had a good laugh talking about the one I wrote that got scrapped that we get the most laughs about is called Studded Leather Up Your Ass, and that one never made the cut. But I don't know. It's just too funny and great. We might have to look it into something.
But would that have been a working title, or would that have actually went on to be the title?
No, it hasn't actually went on anything, but we're never rolling it out. It's just like such a great title. I don't know. But yeah, Studded Leather Up Your Ass is the one we got a good laugh about that got cut. That never made the cut, I guess.
That's awesome. I always love it when bands come up with something and it's just like ridiculous, you know,
right.
like Frankenpaul or some shit like that, you know,
right?
Just like or really lewd ones,
right? The one that always killed me, Regurgitate, fucking your daughter with a frozen vomit fuck stick always made me laugh as a youngster. So that's a
nice.
pretty solid one. Like, wow, dude. They go hard.
I love like writing them on the wall of the practice space and just saying, and then getting 8 working titles down there, and then you have to draw the line over to say, well, this is this song now.
Right.
It's always fun.
For sure.
Blisterfuck is now this. Stuff like that, you know. That is a true story. That is an Overload song.
Well, Tiffany's dog just had a weird thing happen today, and she had the blood pocket on her ear, and we're like, oh shit, that's terrible and all that. But then we're like, hey, song title, Blood Pocket. I don't know.
Blood Pocket.
We might have to use it. I don't know.
You know, that's not a bad idea. That's not even a working title. That could be a real title.
I mean, hey, man, never say never, you know?
Everybody has influences out there. If you could have written or recorded a song or an album from somebody else, what would it be?
I mean, for me, I would have said Slayer, Rain and Blood, because it's just like a flawless thrash album. Like, I just grew up, it's everything, man. It's got Satan, thrash, just insane, fast, just rhythm section, and just a flawless, fucking amazing record. So that's like what really got me going as a young kid coming up. And Slayer, Rain and Blood for me personally.
Definitely, and it's a rather short album too. It's like 29 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
It's not like anything we really do, but I would have to take Typo Negative's World Coming Down.
Okay.
I just think it's a perfect album start to finish, and I'm a huge Typo fan.
Definitely. Yeah, I always think that it's interesting, you know, pulling influence from other sources that, you know, aren't necessarily what you do or, you know, what anybody else would do. But it's like, well, they don't sound, you know, it's like the thing, well, they don't sound anything like that. How, you know, but it's awesome to have an influence like that, I think.
For sure.
You know,
I
like John Denver personally, you know,
Yeah.
but, you know, I play thrash. So,
absolutely.
So I get it, you know. I totally get that.
I get it, man. It just depends on, I listen to everything from Chuck Berry to Satanic War Master and, like, you know, just fucking whatever, you know, and it's all about variety. It just depends on what mood you're in. Any music that can take you from mood A to mood B or kind of, like, fit the mood you're in, you know, that's awesome.
Definitely. What else was the albums?
Well,
I just said I thought maybe Serpents of the Light by Deicide for the just brutality of it, and maybe Brain Drill, their very first album for the technicality of it.
I could go along with that. That's definitely
but it's just 300 beats a minute, balls to the wall speed.
right. Matt comes from a kind of a math metal background. He was in a band called A Nightmare and a Cataclysm. It was just this wild fucking math metal band. And so I know he's got a lot of that coming into the equation. You don't really, like you said, necessarily hear that in this particular band, but we all kind of throw our hat in the ring a little bit and come up with fun stuff. You know?
I always... What's that?
Do we all just enjoy different versions of heavy music from all aspects?
Right, and I think it's, you know, it shows the true test of being an artist is, you know, having multiple influences where in multiple ways of playing with it to different members, you know, it makes a band work. What inspires you all musically?
Working with the public, wanting to kill them.
Yeah, we all have very adult jobs. I work in retail. Tiffany is the manager of 4 restaurants, and Matt works also in like the food industry, and we're just like around the public, especially right now. I would say using music as an escape and a catharsis, and not actually murdering people like you want to sometimes, but making fun little songs about Satanism and murder is a better alternative than actually murdering people. So we just
better.
You just kind of keep your freedom a little more that way. But no, like all jokes aside, like it is kind of tongue in cheek, but there's a lot of escapism. But there is something to it to kind of like, okay, you have to be fake nice to these fucking people all day long, and you can kind of like let the lid off the jar a little bit. And it's fun, you know, for us. It's an escape.
Right on. So. And on the, you know, it's not actually murdering people. Burzum excluded.
Oh, yeah.
Bad joke. Bad joke.
Yeah, you know.
I like it.
Right.
But it's an interesting psyche, I guess, to look at from an outside perspective. But, yeah, personally, I can't support that.
Oh, definitely. Definitely, because it's, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Do you listen to yourself musically?
Josh is our biggest fan.
I do. Yeah, my wife gives me shit all the time. I'm Kanye over here listening to myself. But no, like I listen to stuff to kind of like analyze and see what I can improve on. I think it's safe to say for any artist, you know, the take you got on a record is never your favorite take, and you're like, after you record it, you improve upon it. You listen to it 1,000 times, and you're like, shit, I could have done that better. And I did listen to your show, the episode with Deb Levine from Lady Beast, which also I'm a fan of. They're really cool.
Definitely.
She was talking a little bit about that too. I thought that was really cool that she mentioned that. But the artist is never satisfied. You're always your own worst critic, and I'm definitely bad about just sitting around and going, fuck, I did this or should have done that. But
right.
But I definitely do. I'm our biggest fan, I guess.
I'm our biggest fan on Facebook. Facebook sent me a notification to let me know that.
You got the little diamond on there, your top fan? That's awesome.
For sure.
But what about the just as a fan? Do you listen to it just as a fan or anything? Like taking away the critique factor of it?
I do. Sometimes, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm proud of it, man, because it's, for me personally, it's my second. Guitar and vocals are kind of my second instrument. I played drums in a band called Cadaver and Drag for like 15 years. And so really, you know, guitar is not my first thing. And so I do, you know, I sit back and I kind of like, well, shit, I did this. I did a thing. And we work hard on these songs and we put a lot into it. And we drive across town and get together every week and practice and work to improve. So I do kind of listen to it as a fan too. And I try my best to make an album I would want to buy. And you said something about the Hookers and all those guys. I'm sure there's an influence in there. I mean, I've always loved the Hookers. They're one of my favorite bands.
Same.
So,
Same for me, too.
Yeah.
I was actually on Discogs earlier looking up some of their splits. So.
yeah, man. And I've known those guys for years, and just great dudes, and I love their music. So I'm sure it creeped into the psyche somewhere along the line, you know?
If you could have played any concert from days gone past, you know, like you always hear about the big shows, you know, not necessarily Woodstock or something like that, but like, you know, the Isle of Wight, Castle Donington, Wacken, any of those. Is there anyone in particular that you would ever want to play?
Well, I personally would have loved to have been in Moscow in 1991 with Metallica and Pantera and AC/DC in front of 500,000 people.
Yeah, the Monsters
of
Rock.
Like I was playing, maybe more people would have died.
Wow.
Hey man, don't quote that.
No, that's gonna be the tag on the page. No.
Yeah, right. I did have a project I did back in the day. We played at some show, and somebody from the local paper wrote it and said that if someone's grandma would have heard it, we could have killed somebody's grandma with that music. And I died laughing. I was like, God damn, that's the best review we could have ever gotten. But you're right, you know. But no, like this is the one we were all weirded out about a little bit in our head. Like, I don't know, man. It's like a crazy one. I was listening to your show, and I love what Nicholas Burks was saying. He was talking about, he's like, can I be on Kiss Alive too? And I'm like, yes. Can I also be on Kiss Alive too? But I don't know. It's a good one, man. Maybe Ramones Loco Live. I would have loved to have played on that album because I grew up listening to that, and it fucking destroys, and I love it. But
hell yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird one.
I would definitely say that, yeah. And the Alive thing, you know, he's the only person who has actually ever said a live album of somebody, you know.
Yeah.
And that's totally cool. So yeah, I could totally dig, you know, the live album aspect of things. So.
Oh, for sure, man. Like when I was coming up, my dad was really young, and he was in a Kiss cover band, actually. Fun story. And he got me into Kiss, got me into the Ramones, and kind of like that Dark Throne song, Raised on Rock, we always laugh about, like, that's my song, because my dad was like, here you go, son, and giving me Ramones tapes and stuff. And I heard the Ramones Loco Live, they're just live in Barcelona, just playing these songs. They're playing them 4 times faster than the normal album. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, losing my mind. They play like 52 songs in like 30 minutes or something. But anyway, I guess I could, if I could have been on that, that would have been pretty epic for me personally.
Right on. Anybody else?
I mean, not. When I was read that question, I couldn't really think of like epic shows from the past. I just thought about if I could put together any show, I would probably want to play with Venom and Goathort and Celtic Cross, because I think that would be a pretty awesome lineup to play with. That
would be. You know, that's one of the things that, you know, I would love to see Venom. Just because.
Yeah, we get that thrown around a lot. We get compared to them a lot, and I'm never mad about it. I'm like, fuck yes, I'll take that all day, every day. Like, people are like, you guys got like a Venom vibe. And I'm like, thank you. You know, I wear that very proudly. So
definitely. Yeah, I mean, you know, I could actually see that now that I'm thinking about it, you know, now that you bring it up, I can, after listening to the stuff, yeah, I could see a Venom.
For sure.
A Venom deal in there. And I think it's partially music, it's partially vocal, and yeah, I could see that. That's a notch to, you know, I would be proud of that. So
absolutely.
Personally, I would be.
Yes. Any day.
I don't know how much touring you have done with Black Knife, you know, where other places you have played, but do you have a favorite venue or city you like to perform in?
We haven't done as much touring as we like. We've only got up and down like a couple spots in the Midwest. Like I said, we had bigger plans for 2020, and
this was our year.
This was going to be our year, but you know, we played Detroit. I love like the atmosphere, the people there were fucking awesome, and like it was just like such an awesome show. And, like, we just love the scene in Detroit. I think they get us in Detroit. We do very well there, and we were very well received. And we had intentions of going back before all this. We should have actually already played there again by now. We love Detroit. As far as local, like Lexington, Kentucky, we love playing the Green Lantern. You know, everybody that works there, they're friends of ours. We always have good shows there. Like, we just have a fucking blast every time we play there, and it's just, like, awesome. So we love the Green Lantern in Lexington.
They treat us well.
They treat us well, and they're friends, and they're fucking cool, and we try to suggest them to any touring band that comes through. So.
And it's an intimate spot. I mean, it's not, you know, you can have 30, 40 people in there, and it's packed. It's not like you know, it's not like a thing where you're going to have 30, 40 people in a place, and it just, like, not be... It looks like you could throw something out and hit no one.
Right.
Yeah. definitely I could see the Green Lantern. Absolutely.
That's cool.
And plus, it looks cool there.
Yeah, that's cool that you've been there. You know, living in Indiana and stuff. I didn't know that you'd been there before. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. All right, so this is kind of the general-esque deal here. These are questions that are kind of just like general profile questions, because I always like to ask, you know, more about you as people rather than, you know, the metal and all the music, because I think, you know, it's our similarities and our differences that make us compatible. So do you all have a favorite film?
Well,
the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre I love just because it has influenced my writing and music and in the really terrible movies I was in as a kid. All the crappy bands.
Fun story. Matt's got a song that's been kind of sitting on deck for a long time called Leatherface, and we're going to actually work it into the new album. It's just a song about Leatherface. And it's too funny. He's like, man, I've never gotten it on anything. And we're like, we're going to
20 years.
20 years or something. The song's just been on deck. But I love Texas Chainsaw 2 as well, because I used to live in this like trailer that was just a big party house when I first moved out on my own, and it was not like uncommon for 50 or 60 people just to show up, and it's like the scene from Animal House or something. But we always had 3 VHSs just laying around, and it was like Hellraiser 2, Texas Chainsaw 2, because it was just fucking hilarious and awesome, and Dolomite. Just on those 3. Just on rotation. Don't ask me why, but those are the 3 that were just always on, and we're drinking like 50 beers and just being idiots and just watching those, man. But I don't know, they're kind of nostalgia for me now, you know?
Absolutely. You know, that's so funny because, you know, I was talking with somebody else a while back, and I don't think it was actually on the show, but I pointed out the poster for TCM2 is a knockoff on the Breakfast Club poster.
Oh, yeah.
Like where they're all sitting around and it's just like they're all in the same formation, and if I'm not mistaken, the Molly Ringwald character is actually done by Chop Top on the poster, so
Shit.
yeah, it's total cool stuff.
Just the whole Bill Moseley thing. I just saw a recent interview with him with something with and he was just like in normal mode, and I just see him as Chop Top all the time, so it kind of weirded me out. I'm like, wait a minute, you know, logically he's an actor, but I'm like, come on, dude, you're Chop Top. Like, really good guy.
Well, he's a hoot on Twitter if you follow him.
Yeah.
But no, Bill Moseley is hilarious to follow on Twitter. He always reposts these caption this pictures, and he always comes up with some goofy crap that he does, and it's just like, oh, come on, dude, really?
Yeah. I would caption, lick my plate, you dog bitch. Just whatever, you know, everything is lick my plate. But, yeah.
You know, it's interesting how much Chop Top is actually an Otis also.
Right. Yeah, I kind of thought that too.
Yeah.
He's got that thing. But yeah, he's just a great actor, man. And we would die. Like, we were just sitting around partying and drinking 1,000 beers, and he's like, you fucked up my good Sonny Bono wig, and we're just dying. I'm like, so, man.
Yes.
This changed it forever, man. It's so good.
But those 3 films in the party house, that's awesome. What about everybody else?
I mean, just to put something out there that people aren't expecting, 'cause everybody expects metal band horror movies. I love horror movies, but I love The Big Lebowski, and I love anything that Will Ferrell is in. If people want to judge me, that's fine, but that man is hilarious.
I agree.
I love The Big Lebowski. I'm not huge on Will Ferrell stuff. I like
people
some things.
It's kind of one of those things.
Right, it's a love or hate kind of thing. But then again, you know, I think The Big Lebowski's that way too. You get a huge cult following that loves the film, but then there's a lot of people that are just like, I don't get it.
Yeah, people get it or they don't.
Right, because I think it's a film about nothing almost. It's just like, what's the point? Dude just wants his rug back.
I remember there was one of those Facebook personality test things you could take, and it said that I was the dude, and I felt very proud of that.
wear with honor.
You know, and when I was younger, I was probably the dude. I think I'm turning into Walter, though.
Me too, man. Yeah.
Actually, I'm probably turning more into Donnie. Like, really? Come on, man. Hey, I'm bowling here, you know?
God damn it, honey.
It is one of the more beautiful things if you have ever been in a band with a Donnie after that movie came out, because it always is great when you get to use the line, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie."
You need to get a second guitarist named Donnie. Like, just go with it, man. It's all good.
Right?
Shit, that's amazing.
Do you have a favorite food?
Oh, well, we had a long pause because we eat more food than any band in the world.
Oh, no. I'm pretty sure that's not true, but...
Well, we're Snack Knife, and Tiffany is a hardcore foodie, and we all just love to eat. So we're like, you know.
Well, Josh is the satanic snack master.
The snack master, creeping around the house and eating fucking bonbons at 2:30 in the morning. And, that's my style. So yeah, I've been dubbed the satanic snack master.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I mean, if you pick one, cheese, hands down cheese. Doesn't matter what kind. Cheese on anything.
Tacos, pizza. What do you got?
We just like food. Matt makes his own hot sauce. I mean,
oh yeah.
I love hot sauce, man. I got a company called Matt Hot Sauce, and I work with bands, or I just make it myself. Everything from jalapenos, Carolina Reapers, exotic peppers. I love it all.
He grows the peppers himself.
I might have to be in touch over that. I love hot sauce.
Yeah, get in touch, man. Seriously, we did a Black Knife Drag You to Hell sauce, and I was a little like, are people gonna buy that? I don't know, dude. People flipped out. They were standing at the merch table like, fuck your shirt, fuck your out, give me the hot sauce. They were like, all about it.
Right.
I was like, oh, cool. So it's awesome, dude. That's the man.
I mean, I think it's got to taste like Satan. So as long as you can achieve that, I think people will buy it.
But it also had nice flavors of like smoky garlic and onion, so it had a lot of flavor. It was hot as hell, but it also had like all those flavors in it, so that's what made it so good.
Hell yeah!
Fermented garlic, yeah, good stuff.
That's killer. That's just awesome. That's
totally
cool.
And now we're Snack Knife.
Snack Knife. That's great. Do you have an ultimate jam? The thing that comes back to your media player all the time?
Well, man, like I was kind of talking about the Rain and Blood, and when I'm jamming that, I mean, everybody goes for Rain and Blood, Raining Blood, whatever, but for me, it was always Altar of Sacrifice. That's the album, like, I finally got to see Slayer live on this last tour, and that's the one I'm, like, screaming in people's face, like, shit, I'm, like, ready for it. But yeah, they did Altar of Sacrifice at one point, and I lost my shit. But that's always one that I get extra amped over. Any old Slayer, but Altar of Sacrifice is probably my one I really love.
Hell yeah!
I've got two. That if it comes on at any point in time, I'm gonna go dance up here to house and like be happy immediately. The first one is probably Midnight Can't Stop Steal.
Fuck yeah!
And the second one's gonna be Venom and League with Satan.
Yes.
All day, yeah.
88 Fingers Louie is band out of Chicago. Absolute favorite band, any music, any genre, any style.
Hell yeah. I asked the guilty pleasure question, and somebody had, in an upcoming show says, if you're, past the age of 12, guilty pleasure is probably, you probably shouldn't refer to it as that. So is there any song in particular that you would put out there and say, this would be surprising to people that I would listen to?
Baby Shark.
Matt loves Baby Shark. He won't turn it off. No. For me, a lot of people would probably be surprised that I own like a ass ton of Tom Jones records. I love Tom Jones, and you probably wouldn't expect that, but I do, man. And And, like, I was listening to your thing with Nicholas Burks commented on it, too, like we were talking about him before. I love what he was saying. He was just like, fucking Stevie Wonder, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, you know, like you
Ted
said,
Nugent.
I'm not guilty about it. It's just I like a lot of different shit. But Tom Jones, for me, man, I love him. I like Michael Graves' era of Misfits and kept shit for that all the time, but I don't care. It's fucking like it was just like my shit when I was a teenager, so.
Right.
It is what it is. You're like, it's not Danzig, and I'm like, I don't care, dude. Fucking, I kind of like it. So, you know, I catch hell of it, but it's good.
Well, the thing with that is, I think, you know, Danzig had his day with them, and he definitely had his day after them, so I could totally dig, you know, the Michael Graves stuff. I get that.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
It's different, you know. It's like Motorhead with Phil and Mickey, as opposed to with Filthy Phil and Fast Eddie Clark. It's different, but it's equally as good.
I agree. Totally, man.
Sorry, I probably should have put Wurzel in there, too, because he's fucking awesome, too. So,
and the band I probably get the most shit for liking is Hole.
Yeah, I'm going to shit all over that, too.
You know what? Listen, I was learning to play guitar when I was 12, and I saw her, and I was like, yeah, you're fucking cool. And I still like it, and I just can't help it. It's terrible, awful music, but it's the best way, and I love it.
There's something to be said about whatever's rooted in nostalgia, too, you know, and it's nostalgia.
You know, I was watching a show the other day, and they had, like, a flashback scene, and they played Hole on there. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, that's still out? That's still... People still hear that?
Yeah, I'm still listening.
Tiffany's still tuning in.
Well, I mean, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah, I lived through this album. I still listen to that on, like, a weekly basis.
Right. To me, it's always the thing, too. It's like, you know, you like what you like. So...
Yeah.
That's all cool. You know, it's all cool to that. You know, I love it when people tell me ABBA, actually.
Yeah.
So, because why not?
Why not, man?
Yeah.
Life's short. Listen to ABBA. Fuck, you know.
I mean, it's not one word. I also like Tori Amos.
Hey, Tori Amos has some awesome songs, and she does really awesome cover tunes.
All right. She covered Slayer. I mean...
There you go.
Yeah. She's covered Slayer. She's covered Nirvana.
Bob Dylan.
What's that?
She covered Bob Dylan?
Yeah. So, I mean, and she, you know, it's good stuff. I mean, I totally dig that. And I'm pretty sure she's done some Nine Inch Nails covers. So.
Well, I mean, she gets some credit for dating Trent Reznor, so.
Well, true. I mean, anybody would get credit for that, I think.
Yeah.
Not hating on Trent, just saying.
Simply commenting.
Yeah, just saying. As a musician, we all have shit that goes wrong. We slip and fall. We have cables that quit working during a song, and then as soon as the song is over, they miraculously work again.
Right.
So, I assume you're all familiar with Spinal Tap.
Oh, yeah.
Or
that was another movie that was at the party house a lot. I forgot to mention.
Definitely, because it's fucking hilarious. Do you have any Spinal Tap moments you would like to share?
Yeah, this one's like more on the dark end. This is more something out of like Tales from the Crypt, I guess, than Spinal Tap. But it's so fucked up. It's probably one of the it is the most fucked up thing that's probably ever happened while we've ever played. So, but yeah, we're playing Chicago, and we hit the first note of the first song, and I see red lights everywhere, and there are cops out there, and I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? We just kind of look out. I'm pretending, I'm like in my mode, and I'm up there playing and doing my thing, and then we go out after the show. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Somebody had slammed into a car with a pregnant woman in the car, and the car had slid all the way up to like 2 inches from our actual car, and there's glass and blood everywhere. And we're just like, holy shit, like what's going on? It's definitely like the most fucked up thing that's ever happened at any show we've ever played.
Definitely.
And I don't know whatever came of the woman. Like, she was gone. Obviously the ambulance came and got her. There's police tape all outside the place, and we're just like, holy shit. more of a Tales from the Crypt kind of thing than a Spinal Tap thing, but definitely the most like fucked up thing that's ever happened, I would say.
Yeah, that's definitely fucked up. But hopefully they're okay and listen to the Metal Forge. So
I hope so.
So definitely.
Yeah. Crazy.
On a funnier note, was the moment, and not in this band, but in my previous band, I thought I had more stage behind me than I did, and went to push my amp back some because it was just really crowded and for sound, and I actually pushed my whole rig off the stage in front of everyone.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's one of my more stupid billing moments of my life. It still worked. It was fine because a bunch of people, all the guitar cases were on the concrete floor. I mean, this stage was probably like 8 or 9 feet up, but everybody's guitar cases were behind the stage on the floor, and so when the amp fell, it just landed on all the guitar cases.
Jeez.
And I actually my head had tubes in it too, and like everything was fine somehow.
That's crazy. Good thing,
It was.
A tube head, because they're heavy as shit. Hopefully, good thing nobody was back there.
Yeah, no, that would have been really bad, actually.
That would have been, oh my gosh. Death by bass.
New song titles, man. They just keep coming.
The stage was shaped funny because it used to be a strip club, and so like it wasn't, the floor didn't go all the way back on both sides. You just went all the way back in the middle, and I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I've played on stages like that. It is weird. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was even a stripper pole still on the stage, and I was like, where are we playing?
Oh, shit.
Oh. Does Matt have any Spinal Tap moments he'd like to share?
Oh, my God, so many. The speed thrown would be having the van burst into flames on tour while you're in it.
Ooh.
Pulling off the side of the road to get out of the burning van, and kind of being stuck in a small town in West Virginia for a while. That was interesting.
Yeah, that actually sounds kind of scary. I don't think I would want to share that. Being stuck in West Virginia.
Yeah, middle of nowhere. I was in the band, that Matt metal band he was talking about earlier, Nightmare and a Cataclysm. We were playing with a band from Japan, Last of All, and we about 3 a.m. we're coming around the mountain when she comes, and having a deep discussion, and suddenly we smelled smoke looked behind us, saw flames and smoke sold over, just burst into flames, and we all took off running away from the van as it was burning, and the kids from Japan had already way ahead of us taking pictures of it. So there's a picture of the van bursting into flames as us running away from it, kind of like a movie poster, and so that became our album cover. Had to.
Definitely. That's actually yeah, it sucks, but that's, it's kind of a plus there because you did get an album cover out of it.
Hey, it was called Hell on Wheels because all those kids from Japan, anytime something really cool would happen, instead of saying, that's cool, that's awesome, they would say, Hell on Wheels. So it's like, well, there's our album title.
That's awesome. And like I said, it's a positive ending.
Hey.
What is your greatest achievement as a musician?
Well, like I said, me personally, taking on guitar and frontman duties and stuff after being a drummer and basically starting at it, really late in life in my 30s for, anybody picking up an instrument like that. I'm pretty proud of that I just kind of willed myself to do it because I'd always played drums in a band, and I'm like, man, I want to do guitar and vocal stuff. I've never really done it, and just kind of kicking my own ass into doing it. So I was pretty proud of the fact that I've been able to do it, man. I'm not the most technical guitarist. I definitely know that, but just kind of staying in my comfort zone and just taking the reins with it and just doing it. And I'm proud that I was able to do that.
Right on. I think it works, though.
Yeah,
and if it works, and less is more sometimes. Absolutely. That's something that a lot of bands that I've noticed that have had some crazy popularity over the last, 6 or 7 years. They're not all technical bands. They're not all Weedles and giant fills or anything. There's a lot more simplistic parts to the music.
Right. I saw a recent interview with Paul Stanley talking about that. You know, he was just like on quarantine showing it off, you know, just him playing the rhythm section of a certain song. And he's like, hey, I just, you know, stay in my lane. I know I'm not the most technical guy. He's like, there's a reason we have a lead guitarist and that I'm the rhythm guitarist. You know, he was very honest about it. And there's something to be said to that. You know, sometimes just a good catchy song, just something very like, you know, it's the punk rock aesthetic, and sometimes less is more. And that's kind of what we do.
Tiffany?
I would say for me, I mean, it's not really like an achievement, but just the fact I think that I just keep going and keep trying to do something in music. You know, anybody who's done this knows that there's a million times that you question why you do it and why you keep going and is it worth it, especially as you get older. So I think my biggest achievement is just that I keep going, because I know that, like, when it comes time, like when I die, if I didn't even try, I'm not going to be okay with how I live my life.
Definitely. I think that's one of the biggest questions that any musician has is, you know, questioning, you know, why am I still doing this? You know, do I want to keep lugging this heavy-ass amp up and down stairs at venues, or whatever, you know, why do I keep doing this? And I think that's awesome, you know, that you still get a fulfillment out of it to keep doing it.
It's got to still be fun. I mean, if you're not having fun, then there's no point.
Right. I agree.
All of us, you know, we all work 40-plus hours a week, and so, you know, fitting in practice and shows and, like, putting that on top of your normal work schedule, if you don't like it or love it or get some fun out of it, then you shouldn't do it.
Right.
Absolutely. It's not like we're making bags and bags of cash and satanic songs about murder at the fucking Green Lantern. You know, like, here's your $1 million, man. Like, you know, and every musician knows that. But, you know, we definitely have a fun escape, and we love it, man, for sure.
Definitely for sure. Matt, do you have anything to add on that?
Say, as far as achievement, I never did push my son to go into the same field as me. Let him do whatever he wanted to, and I just stood by him the whole way. And he's going to be 18 this November if he is an adult. And now he's got his own guitar, his own amp. He's ended up growing his hair out just like me. Poor kid looks just like me. But that's my greatest achievement is him. And Cole, that's his name. And he is starting to play metal, starting to pick up some guitar. He's got some friends in Tennessee where he's at playing some of the same music, and I'm just happy that he finds happiness in the same kind of things that I do.
Definitely. Heck yeah, man. That's awesome. Yeah, it always seems like you have the two-type parent deal. It's either the ones that are saying like, "Well, I'm a drummer and I'm gonna teach my son or my kid when they're could be daughter when they're old enough to reach the pedals and stuff like that," or you get the ones that like you just said that, hey, this is what I'm into. You do you show me what you're into, and that's cool, dude. Hell yeah. Exactly.
He just kind of came to it on his own, and I was thrilled when he was showing me bands that I'd never heard of, and now I'm like, damn, man, they're really good. Or he kind of got me into this old Blackcraft cold slowly. Now we're both wearing the same shit.
That's so fortunate because he could have been listening to some music you absolutely
man, yeah. That was great.
Nice. So for most bands, I would say the morbid question. I don't necessarily think this would be too morbid for you all. But if heaven or hell exists, what do you want to hear when you arrive where you think you're going?
Welcome to hell. The Venom, man. Venom's welcome to hell, man. Like, you know, and you go there and Venom's already there just waiting for you, you know, in a perfect situation. No, but yeah, Venom's welcome to hell for me.
Absolutely.
I'd love to hear, hey, Sigler, bourbon and Coke?
It's not really something I want to hear, but I think it would be awesome if Satan handed me a kitten and it had tiny little devil horns. It was like the cutest little hellcat ever, and that's like your present on entry.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, this has been an extremely fun interview, and I appreciate you all coming on. Again, Transplant Fest 3 is 7/11/20 at the Southgate Revival House Revival, something like that. I'll get it right eventually. In Newport, Kentucky. And it's an early show. It starts at like 4 o'clock or something like that. I was looking at on the flyer. It's $25 pre-sale, and I think 30 day of show, something like that. We'll get it. I'll get it right eventually before there, because I'm going to plug it a few more times. But tell everyone out there how to get a hold of Black Knife, how they can buy merch, this new split that's on vinyl even with Whipstriker. Tell everybody how they can do that.
We've mainly just been selling everything through our Bandcamp. That's probably the best way to do it. We've already got the shipping pre-calculated and all that stuff, so it's just easier. I used to have to just tell everybody, send this much for shipping, blah, 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 blah. And we just found it works better for us just to do everything through Bandcamp. So we've got our newest album on LP, CD, and tape. It's called Spellcaster. And then we've got our split with Whipstriker from Brazil that you just mentioned. It's on Bandcamp as well. And so I would just tell everybody just to go to Bandcamp. I mean, you can buy any format of whatever we have available, and also the digital download right there on Bandcamp. So. And
other merch as well, because I bought a patch off there.
Well. Yeah, we got a patch, different stuff. We're on Spotify. We're on we've got our YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We're pretty much well covered on all of it, all the streaming services. So we're out there.
Awesome. And do you all have any shout-outs you want to give before we play Spellcaster?
Basically to everyone who has bought our albums and came to our shows and gave us support or booked us and had us play your venues or anything like that. We're super grateful to everyone that's ever supported the band. Like I said, there's going to be a lot more of us to come, and we're looking to get out there and play outside of Kentucky a lot more. And we just appreciate everybody so much that supported us. So thank you to you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you all again for joining me on the show today. This is Spellcaster. Since 1973, Tattoo Charlie's has been an established body modification studio in Kentucky, featuring world-renowned artists and piercers, currently with locations on Preston Highway and in Lexington, a staple point in the tattoo community. Learn more at TattooCharlies.com. Set up your appointment today at 7904 Preston Highway. Our tattoos are done while you wait. Hey, are y'all in a band? Do Do you need merch for shows? By now I'm sure you've seen all the Metal Forge patches that are available, along with many more. Well, the printer I use for those is UKR Patcher. Check them out on Facebook and Etsy. They do awesome custom work and for extremely affordable prices for any band budget. Check them out, UKR Patcher on Facebook and Etsy. Hey everyone, do you play tabletop games like D&D and Pathfinder? Well, hit up Eric at Imagination Studios. They do custom printing for all your minis for gameplay. Don't forget they are a licensed Reaper, Artisan Guild, and Moored printer and dealer. Hit up ImaginationStudios502.com for more info. That's ImaginationStudios502.com. EMAGINATION Studios502.com.